Eyes down for the
Morning folks, Monday, and we have this working. Now it won't go down smoothly because I haven't got enough, there isn't enough slope on it to give it enough down impetus, but I'll try it. No it won't. What happens is, when it's going down, it applies the carriage, because there's not enough weight downhill to keep the carriage brake off. As soon as the chain goes slack, it applies the carriage brake and that trips a micro switch which stops it. If it was up a staircase and therefore at a steeper slope, it would work. But basically, we've got it working. Now, you'll see I've got a 6-volt supply onto the battery pack. I've joined out the there's a pair of wires there which is one of the safety switches that's come off the bottom. But basically, that's it, it's working. So, I'll put that back together and move on to the second one. Whoops, I stood on the switch. Up. And there she goes. Lovely. Thank goodness for that. Right, I'm going to put that one back together and I'll get on with number 2. And I'm sure number 2's got exactly the same fault. Bye now. And here we go folks, number 2. Seems to be all working fine. Bye now. Morning folks, Tuesday. I'm going to continue with the Briggs and Stratton point setting, and what a miserable day. We were going to do some field work today, including disposing of a sycamore that's growing in the wrong place. Only a little one, but I don't like cutting trees down, but with sycamores that are growing right under walls I make an exception. So that's going to go soon, but not today. As you can see, it's not really the weather for being in long grass and cutting trees down. We were going to cut the rest of the rough areas as well, but that's obviously out of the question. Never mind. Bye now. Afternoon folks, 1:22, and I've had a bit of a tidy up. I've swept up, I've cleared the bench down again, I've swept the floor, I've nearly finished, and I think you will agree, stage by stage we are improving. Right, there's only one way to really tidy this place up, and that's get rid of 50% of the stuff in it, which is what I'm trying to do at the moment. Right, I'm going to have a cup of tea, and then I'm going to put that back together and see if the little git works, because when I put it away in that shed, I'd serviced it, I'd put new oil in it, I'd cleaned the carburetor, and it was working perfectly. So there you go. The only thing I hadn't done was put the points to the correct gap. So, clear that up, cup of tea, back on this. Bye now. Right folks, I've reset the points, 20 thou on these. To reset the points you have to loosen the bolt holding the condenser, tap the condenser down and get 20 thou gap. Turn the shaft until the points open fully. So that's job done now, and that's the points cleaned as well. So I'm going to bang all this back together and see if we've got a spark. Bye now. Right folks, that's the flywheel all reassembled. What we have to do next, now that we've disturbed this, we've had this taken off and we've reseated the key and we've reseated the flywheel, we now have to set the gaps between the armature there and the magnet. So that's the next job, but the first job is to look up in the manual to see how much the gap should be. You can get all this information online, it's not hard to find out. So that's my next job, into the manual, see what the gap is, and then what you do is you loosen this core off, tighten one bolt, and then you're supposed to put the feeler gauge onto there, put it under the magnet, slacken that one off, tighten it again, and then move back to that one and do the same thing, and then you get an even air gap all the way around. Right, onward. Right folks, it's all back together and we have a spark that would set house on fire. So I'm just going to make a little stand underneath for this end, a little piece of V folded metal with two holes in it, so that it sits level, because it sort of sits down at one end at the moment and it looks naff. So I'll do that and then I'll bring you back again. Bye now. There she goes folks. Now it's working on 240, but at the moment it doesn't appear to be working on 110. So I'm going to have a look at that and see if we can sort that out as well. Right, I'll bring you back. We started straight away. Lovely. Bye now. Right folks, the 110 volt or 115 volt is working. The meter had tripped out. I'd connected it the wrong way around and the meter had tripped out. So it's all working. So there you go. Quite fascinating. It is a Conyers Limited, Faraday House, Eastfield, Scarborough, North Yorkshire. Cadet Alternator, 2 kVA. Right, so it's made in Scarborough. Obviously assembled from parts made by other people. But there you go. Right, it's all working, so it's more or less ready for sale when I put this lid back on, which I shall do right now. Bye. Hey folks, Friday, and the tractor tracks show where we've been in the wet grass. We've taken the meat down to the kennels, and Keith's just stacking it in the freezers.